Hey there, this is Daoki the Viking with another episode of How To. This time I'm showing you a Tier 6 Royal Navy battleship, the Warspite. In this clip I'm starting right into the action by having cut the first 2 minutes of sailing around. The Warspite, among other great gifts, is given to anyone that signs up as a shipmate using the link that's displayed on the screen. You just have to play one single battle in any tier 6 ship after you have pledged eternal loyalty to your favorite Viking. I'm joking. It will work with any invite link. But take mine. Seriously, take mine. You know it's the right thing to do. The Warspite is a British battleship, but not like the others from the researchable tech tree. Your high explosive is as worthless as the ones from any other nation, making you effectively an outsider among the Royal Navy heavies. The Warspite has only 8 guns, placing it at the end of the ladder on that tier. On top of that, the turrets turn slowly, slower than the Brexit negotiations went. So, why would you want to sign up as a shipmate and get this beauty for free? Because you get one of the biggest gun calibers on that tier in return. You press 2 at the start of the battle, you load AP and surprise unsuspecting player with your most accurate guns for a battleship on that tier. The Warspite has rather low range, so you use the spotter airplane on cooldown and right from the start. You hit them hard, finding citadels everywhere, and thus demonstrate the superiority of the British Empire. At this point, 4.5 minutes in the game, I have already gotten 2 citadels and over 34,000 damage. You should aim at high explosive spamming cruisers whenever possible, since this ship identifies as an absolute teabag. Compared to your competition, you float high above the waterline. I mean, look at this. Your side is effectively 1.5 times the height of some other battleships on the same tier, and your massive superstructure will attract any high explosive shell in your vicinity. Much like Bumblebee Honeylover attracts his name being spelled wrong. Add crap 32mm deck armor and you will quickly realize that you are constantly going to, oh, and that is a beautiful citadel there. Add 32mm deck armor and you will quickly realize that you're constantly going to be the floating representation of the Great Fire of London in 1666. Seriously, you will burn a lot. It will further be penetrated by almost every enemy battleship shell fired at you, thus completing the tea metaphor due to it breaking as easily as a teacup. On top of that, another nice kill. On top of that, it is excruciating slow. Only second to the original thick American girls that are in the game since the beginning. With the new American battleships being introduced now, I might have to do a vid on them as well. Having said all of this, how do you actually play this ship as a new player? Simply by using the excellent concealment to get into position, and enemy shells that are flying towards you can easily be dodged with its freaky turning radius, which rivals that of cruisers. The issue is going to be the turrets. Since the turrets turn so slowly, I highly recommend to plan ahead. I suggest you look to the side of the ship where your guns would point and then press the right mouse button to have an easier time maneuvering while your guns are brought into position. I did a couple rounds in this ship to get the footage for this commentary and had no problem colonizing the living shit out of everyone. Now, in this battle, the action is moving a bit faster than I can keep up with due to the slow speed, so let's do a quick time jump here. I do get a nice salvo off on the enemy carrier. Unfortunately, not finishing him. 14k were not enough. I did not find the citadel there, and while my guns reload, I ready myself for the next salvo. I use just the front guns here, and as my second volley hurls towards the enemy, I turn my ship around once more to also bring the back turrets in action, and again I cannot get the finishing blow. I do focus once more on the Ismail as he's approaching the border of the map, and in a rather questionable turn he starts to give me full broadside right after the friendly cruiser got blapped. Get a nice hit there with the front guns, and as he turns full broadside, my back turrets manage to land a citadel. The remaining hit points are going to be chipped away. However, the Ismail also got a salvo off as well, and this further highlights my point from before. Most Battleship AP will penetrate and do massive damage. I used my heal, which has the potential of healing up to 11,000 hit points with the respective signal, of course, and I start working on the Graf Spee ahead of me. First couple shells do not find the citadel. At this point I am above 100,000 damage and the game is pretty much decided. I do struggle here to finish off the Spee, and I start turning in. Because as you have seen before, the priority indicator switched from 1 to 0 and back to 1. This was a clear indication of the enemy switching to his torpedo armament and back to his main guns. And again, just over penetrations, the final salvo finds the citadel. Having this additional information is the reason why I think it is the most powerful tier 1 skill for all classes except carriers, and I easily dodge the torpedoes. I do proceed to get some final volleys off on the Trento, but I do not locate the shells properly, so there's just one stray shell that makes contact. And as I wait for my guns to reload, the friendly carrier together with a cruiser end the game ahead of time by capping the enemy's base right at the point when I was getting my last shot off on the Trento. In summary, another successful colonization attempt ends. Sadly, no Kraken. We get 4 kills there, which would have been easily possible. I do top the scoreboard, and now on to my captain. This is my standard Royal Navy battleship captain, which happens to work also great on the Warspite. For the basic 10-point build, I go with priority target, expert marksman, superintendent, and concealment. After that, I continue with basics of survivability, adrenaline rush, and the remaining 4 points into jack of all trades and high alert. For the equipment, I go with main armament mod 1, damage control system mod 1, and aiming system modification 1 in the third slot, although if you struggle with the third traverse, you could also go with main battery modification 2, and finally damage control system mod 2. Flag wise, I recommend the India Delta for the additional heal, and it also helps if you take any of the damage reduction flags. This is it. This is how I play the Warspite, and see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you like the clip, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. I will provide regular guides and how-to videos for World of Warships. If you want to become a shipmate, then you can make use of the link for the EU server on the screen. I stream on twitch.tv/daoki. Watch out, it's written with a 0 instead of an O. See you next time.